and down, they never change. Frenzy at the restaurant, the principal knows the street you live on. The farmer's market runs all day long. The Saturdays are full of songs. School buses packed, kids from your street. The pool is full, every swim meet. The street dance is stacked with the people on their feet. And that's kind of the 4th of July.
Today we are with Amanda Fitzpatrick at Haven. What are we going with the full name here? I've seen like different versions.
Of my name?
No,
or
of the salon name.
You go with whatever you want. You just call it Haven. It's like Madonna, Prince. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Haven. It's like a super
Haven,
hard name
period.
with Haven.
Dot. Yes, period.
And she's got an excellent Madeira small business story to tell. And I really want to bring this front and forward because kicking the B roll. I can cut this because I'm a really good editor.
Are we going to get through this?
I want to bring your story to film highlighting the bricks, mortar, and unwavering strength of Madeira. Often the incredible journey of growing a small business from the inside out is overlooked, and your mantra, "These are my people," you want to say it?
This is my place and these are my people.
Has transformed your business into a hardworking powerhouse, fueled by love and meticulous scheduling. But your dedication has resulted in consistently booked scheduling, showcasing a remarkable success that you've achieved. That was totally chat CBT or CBD.
Completely. It was amazing.
But I do want you to tell your story, and we're going to start all the way from way when you were just a kid.
We're going to get weird.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get weird.
And we're going to start just from right before you went to college and
Okay.
where you were writing your book. And your thought pattern was to go to school for...
I originally went to OU, and I went to school for special education. I couldn't think of anything else to do, and I really had a soft spot for special needs children, and so I decided I'll just be a teacher. And my dad is an immigrant, and for him, it is like, you know, my dad's side of the family, you become a doctor, you become a lawyer. So going to college to become a teacher was not really something that was like celebrated on that side, I guess. But I was the first one to go to college. So I went to college and very quickly realized that I was 17 when I went to college. Little fish, big pond, and was totally overwhelmed by the whole thing. Hated every minute of it. After 2 years, I came home. But while I was there, I changed my major, and I went to criminology sociology, and I was really into it. But I changed my major, of course, like last semester, second year, and I was like, I'm going to be here forever. But the big thing I got from college was the realization that, like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. I realized I think that I need to constantly, like, have my hands in something. I need to be making something, doing something. Sitting in a classroom just was not conducive. It just wasn't for me. So I left college and I came home and I had no idea what I wanted to do. And my mom, God love her at the time, I thought she was like the worst mom ever, was like, okay, well, you're home. So now you owe me rent and you need a car. You need to pay for your car that was always free, and you pay for your insurance and you pay for food. And I was like, whoa. So I had to get a job very, very quickly. And then I had to get 2 jobs because it was expensive to live back home. Great lesson, right? So I just started doing random things, and I was like, I'm just going to try a little bit of everything and like throw spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. I worked at Fifth Third Bank, I think, along with every other of my friends that dropped out of college. I realized that cubicle life was not for me. I worked for a company that was contracted out by the county to fix the child support system. And I actually thought that was really cool. I did a lot of work at the Justice Center, and I kind of fell in love with that whole arena, I guess. The company lost their contract, so I needed to find another job. And I got a job as a social worker at the battered women's shelter, which was actually awesome. I really felt like I was doing something. I was connecting with people every day. There were always new people coming into my office. It never got stagnant. It wasn't stale, but I really felt like I was like making a difference. But at the time I was 23 years old. And I think just emotionally and like the heaviness of the situation, for some kid that really had never experienced anything was just too much. So I had a client of mine who was actually murdered by her spouse. And that was the nail in the coffin. Like, I just was like, I have to step back from this. This is too much for me. And I don't feel like I'm actually serving my clients in the best way possible, because I have no clue I've never been married. I don't have kids. I've never really had, like, I don't understand like the heaviness of this. So I quit. And I had no job for like a week. And I remember telling my mom, I was like, I just want something fun. And so I decided to bartend. I was like, this looks like fun. So I started bartending and I actually loved it. I was meeting new people and it was the same thing, like just the serving, as weird as it sounds, bartending, but just the serving people and the getting to know people and the building a relationship with people. But I wasn't doing anything during the day. So that was when City Beat was a thing. I don't know if you remember that. There were like City Beats everywhere and you could like actually like read a paper. Yeah. So I grabbed the City Beat one day cleaning my bar and I was thumbing through the classifieds and there was an ad for a part-time receptionist in Blue Ash Salon. And the hours were great and the pay was really good. And I was like, well, that seems like fun. I can probably get my hair done. So I ended up getting that job. And about a week in, I was like, this is it. It was like a light bulb. And I was like, this is what I want to do. So I decided to go to hair school. That's my journey here.
Was there anything or anybody or any show or anything that made you switch into the criminology major? So like SVU show or like
I think it was the criminology aspect, I think to me was the mystery of it and like solving the mystery. I loved, we kind of go back to the whole, like, I have to be doing something and like solving something and figuring something out. If there's a problem, I'm going to be the one to fix it. And that's kind of goes to my whole life. But I think with the criminology sociology thing, that was kind of what intrigued me, was here's your mystery and now you have to solve it. And I loved that. I thought that was like the coolest part. Yeah.
So it kind of goes into a little bit of the service life of what you're working on today.
Yeah.
Here's a bad hairdo. I don't like mine.
Yeah.
Here's this Polish Irish guy with this horrible hairstyle.
It's the worst.
The worst.
The worst.
Let's see what we can do to fix the receding hairline and let's fix it.
Yeah, it's cool. What I do every day is absolutely awesome. Like, you hear people say, like, I have to go to work. And then there's people that are like, I get to go to work. I get to go to work every day. When I had children, it became a thing of like being torn between wanting to be at home with them, but still wanting to be here. And it wasn't, I have to go to work or do I stay home with my kids? But it was like, I really want to be here, but I also really want to be there too. Yeah. And I think for me as a mom, that was the hardest pull, was that I actually really wanted to be in both places equally. Yeah.
How did your parents feel about the transition from college? I mean, obviously it was get to work. And
yes,
that was something when I came back from school as well, I think I had 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And
I had 2 until I think I was like 28.
It was
because I had college debt to still pay off.
Right.
My mom was like, well, you dropped out, so now all of this is yours. Yes. Like at the time I thought my mom was like the worst human ever. And now at 43 years old and with children of my own, I look back and I could literally just like kiss her face off for forcing me to be accountable. And you made these choices and now you have to figure it out. But it was like, learn how to take care of yourself because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Yeah.
And it was a great lesson.
Those are also the days that I was working 3 jobs, but staying up till
I had the time of my life. At the time of my life.
Right. And then sleeping until 10 and then going to work again and doing it all again.
Yeah.
And looking back now, I'm like, I can't even stay up until 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock and I'm making up lies to get my kids to go to bed, right?
But I'm so glad I did it because I think about how exhausted I am now and I'm like, how did I do all that back? I spent all my energy in my 20s.
Yeah.
And now I'm paying for it.
I also think it's really important. I love when people are like, I think everyone should work in the service industry at some point.
Yes.
That was huge.
Yes.
I bartended and I cocktailed and I waitressed for a couple years. And you also just learn how to talk to people.
Yes.
Yes, it's huge. It's so big. But serving the public and talking to people and learning how to talk to people of all different kinds and diffusing situations. And I think it's so important that everybody, at least at one point in their life, has a job serving others
Yes.
in one shape or form.
It's a lesson that's being lost, I think, to learn how to pick up a phone, learn how to just
Kids don't know how to talk.
learn how to do this.
Yeah, because we do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for somebody to just, instead of texting somebody for a simple message, just pick the phone because the tone is gone.
Yeah. Even at like restaurants now, you can just order from a tablet on your, I feel so old. Like, oh, there's a computer on my table. But like you can order from a tablet and your menu is a QR code on a thing. And like I shouldn't say struggle, we really stress now, like with getting our kids, like look at someone you're talking if you're ordering your dinner. You know what I mean? Like and I think when you're here, that's all it is. And I think that's what I love. I love so much about it. Like I meet new people every day and I am I know everything about people. I know things about people that they don't even tell their spouses, right? I've been with people from college graduations to meeting their husbands, to getting engaged, to doing their weddings, to being there when they have their first kids and things that come with marriage. And like, I've had people that I've had for 18 years now. And it's a privilege to be able to be a part of people's lives like that, as deep as we are. It's awesome. I get to do this every day.
We might sound like the new boomers.
I think we are. We are.
But trust me, it is something that will be missed one day.
100%.
I just
talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how people meet people.
Yeah.
Like dating. It's all on apps. And but like, you just like go talk to people or like meet people or get to know people. I literally think that is what I love about my job. Every day is different.
Mhm.
Every single day is different.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
So let's start with the next part, the foundations of where you started with the salon. So you got the reception position.
I got the reception position and I decided to go to hair school. So I started hair school and I absolutely loved it because I was working so many jobs and I was bartending and I was doing a ton of late nights. School started at like 7:45, 45 minutes away from where I lived. So it took me like an extra 6 months to graduate. There was a lot of missed school, but I finally did it. It's kind of the joke between my hair school friends and I. And I finally graduated. I got a job working in a salon in Hyde Park. And about 3 or 4 months in, realized like this is not the vibe I was going for. Like this, I think chemistry is everything. And your first salon out of hair school either makes your experience or it breaks your experience. And this one was starting to break my experience. The chemistry just wasn't right. It wasn't there. So that was a commission salon. So I left and I went literally around the corner to another salon that was more booth rental. So you kind of paid for the space and you ran your own business within their business. And I really liked that model. It gave everybody kind of ownership of their own business. I felt like it really, the accountability was there.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, you are responsible for your growth. Like, yes, you've given me this great place to work and you've, given me all the big stuff that I need, but it's up to me to grow this business and really make this business what it's going to be. And I just took that and ran with it. And I basically just pimped and promoted myself out. Like it was unreal. And it worked. It was awesome. And, we joke, shouldn't say we joke, but I think something that, I don't know if it's braggable, but we've never paid for advertising or marketing. We've been in business now for 16 years. And we've just never done it. It's all been through word of mouth. It's all been through referral. And it's kind of, the lost art of being able to talk to people. But I truly believe that if you are good to people, people will be good to you. And I think, going back to the whole, this is my place and these are my people. like we said before when we talked, like I want people to leave here and go, that's my place.
Yeah.
To feel like this, I literally want you to walk in and be able to sit anywhere, or grab a drink, or do whatever you want here, right? And these are my people. I want, if you are out and someone says the name of the salon, Haven, oh my God, that's my place, right? That's what I want. And I think we've always had that as the heart from the very beginning, to where people do feel like this is their place and we are their people, and they tell other people about us too, because I think they want that for their people.
Yeah.
And that's literally, I think, how we've grown over these years.
Now tell me about the monetary kickstart.
So when I left the salon in Blue Ash, after I graduated, I then had gone to my first job in Hyde Park. The chemistry was not right. I then went to another salon, and I remember thinking, like, I have to make this work, because I told everybody that hair school was like a great idea. This can't fail. And so I was there, and the chemistry was terribly off. And I knew I had to get out, and I was like, third time's got to be a charm. And so I had a friend that worked at that very first salon and had gone off on her own at the time, like Salon Concepts and Salon Lofts. The small studios were becoming a really big thing in Cincinnati. And I knew that she was having great success at a salon and like her own studio suite. And so I just called her and was like, can I pick your brain? I've been out of hair school for 6 months. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to start my own business, right? Like, I don't know who I think I am, but this just feels right. I'm kind of being led this way. I don't have any money to start my own business. I literally have no idea what I'm doing. I've had no extra training outside of hair school. All the reasons why this wasn't going to work. She was pretty much right, but you're sitting in front of me now. And I believe in you, and I think you can do it. And this is the best thing I've ever done. And so she said, I will give you $1,000 to start your business. At the time, Salon Concepts had this great referral program that if you started somebody, she's like, so when I get that referral for starting you, it'll just pay that back. But let me do this to you. And then when you get established and you start, you just make sure you pay it forward to another stylist coming up. And so I did. And that's how it started. So essentially, Blake got me started in hair, and I took that money, and I think I pinched every penny to try to make it work for that, to basically get everything I needed to start my own business. And I did. And the rest is history. Yeah.
And then you moved to Oakley.
So I did the Salon Concepts in Oakley. And I was there for about 2 years. And a stylist that was with me at my very, very first salon, we had stayed friends, had gone on maternity leave, and I knew she wasn't happy, chemistry again. And so I pretty much forced her to come and work with me. I got a double suite, and I was like, I'm telling you, this is the best thing. This is it. And she did. And we've been together. We literally have been together since my very first salon. And so she came and we had the double, and then we just quickly outgrew it. A friend of mine was a commercial developer and had some space over in Oakley Square, and was like, hey, I want you to come and look at this, and had this, it was a huge building, but the first floor was commercial. And so he was like, do you think you could put a salon in here? I'm like, put a salon anywhere. And so we built that out, and that was our very first space that was just ours. And we were there for about 1.5 years, and we realized we need a bigger space already. So we started looking for more space, and we found another building in Oakley, and we knew we wanted to stay in Oakley. That was kind of our bread and butter. That's where we always were. And so we found that building on Brotherton, and we completely gutted it. He completely gutted it. And we moved in there. And I think there are a lot of things we did right, and I think there are a lot of things we did wrong. And I don't think it was until we moved into this Madeira space that I truly felt like the owner of a business. I think it was more like, I'm going to build this really cool thing, and we all can be together, and we're going to do this together, right? And I think I made a ton of mistakes in that space. We did some things that were really good, and we did some things that I look back and I'm like, I could have been better. I could have done better. But the chemistry was just off for many reasons. It was a bigger space with a lot more people. And in the end, I think we all kind of realized that you can't just throw 15 women into a space and think that it's just going to gel cohesively. And so we had rented that space for a while, and the situation, in terms of rental, just the chemistry wasn't there anymore. And my husband's a home builder. And so I knew that he could do some pretty cool stuff. And we had talked about buying a property in Oakley somewhere, and gutting it and just having our own salon in our own building. And so we searched, and something landed in our laps. And it was a building that nobody else wanted. And when I walked into it, I knew it was going to be mine. And so we bought this property over on Ridge, completely gutted it, total labor of love. And we moved in, and I took with me the chemistry. And we have all been together now for 12 years, 13 years, I think. And there's a reason why we're all still together. It just works. It's a family. It is your friends that become family. And, you'll hear a lot. I think when you get a lot of women together, sometimes it can get a little catty. It can get a little weird. There's a lot of drama. And when I say that there is none, I mean, there is none. Like, literally, I work with my best friends every single day. They're the best people I know. And that's what makes it work.
We're moving into Madeira.
Okay. So, we were in Oakley. Absolutely loved it. There was a woman who owned all the property from the right of us all the way to the highway. And she was great. And we had a lot. It's very hard to find parking in Oakley. We had a parking lot, and it was great for our clients, but we rented space from her for our employee parking. And through no fault of her own, it was a wonderful thing that happened to her. A developer came and offered to buy up all this land from her. So she sold. It was demolished, but with that went our employee parking. And unfortunately, the way that we do our scheduling, we double book. There are 6 to 7 of us in at a time, which means you've got 12 to 13 clients at the same time. We lost our parking. And being on Ridge, there was no on-street parking. So we're thinking, what am I going to do now? This was not in my plan, right? And I think, we talked about it when we talked before. I think people come into your life, and I think people are put into your life and people are taken out of your life. But I also think that opportunities and things and places, the same goes for that. And in the moment, I remember when we found out that we were losing our employee parking, I just crumbled. I was like, what are we going to do? But everything is figure outable. My husband will say that. Everything is figure outable. And so we sat on it in this property that we dumped blood, sweat, and tears and so much money into, to be not only our business, but an investment for our family. We realized was not going to be anymore if the business was going to continue on. So I started looking, and I remember thinking, like, it felt like a failure at the time to have to sell the building or get rid of the building. But now, 2 years later, I look back and it was the biggest blessing we've ever had. So I still wanted to stay in Oakley, the Oakley Hyde Park area, and there was just nothing that could accommodate the volume of parking that we needed. And one night I woke up, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just Googled Madeira commercial space. I had never looked in this area before. We live over like Anderson, Newtown. And the space popped up, and it had literally come up like the day before. And I remembered this space. My mom was the old Madeira Optical, and my mom worked here forever. In the front desk, I used to sit behind and pretend like I worked here. And I remembered the parking lot. And my husband woke up the next day, and I was like waiting for him to wake up. And I was like, Brian, look what I just found. He said, let's go look at it. And so I called my commercial agent, and we were in here the next day, and we walked it. I had my husband, we had blueprints. And I remember thinking, can I turn this into a salon? Plumbing, it's a pretty big deal to gut a space to make it work. And my husband pretty much said, we can do anything. And it was a total leap of faith. Could we have made it work in Oakley? Maybe, but some things would have had to have changed, some big things that would have affected the business, but would have affected the people working in the business. And to me, that just wasn't an option. There were a few other things that all of a sudden Oakley just did not make sense, and it did not work for us anymore. And I just kept thinking, this was put in my lap for a reason when it fell into my lap. Like, listen to those little heart tugs and listen to the signs, right? Sure. And so we took a leap of faith thinking, okay, we're going to rent this space. We're going to dump all this money into it. We're going to put our building for sale. We're going to hope that somebody sees and loves it and sees the potential as much as we did. And we're going to use house money to do all of this, right? And it was terrifying to think that, like, I'm once again doing this to my family. Like, we're jumping into another space and we're doing this. My husband, I think we talked about this before, where I'm usually like this and he is steady. He is as steady as they come. And he's very much, he's not the husband that's like, I'll do anything to make you happy. He is more like, I will do anything to support your happiness. And I think he knew how much this meant to me and what a blessing this was going to turn into our family. And so we did it. And we put the Oakley space up for sale. We had a ton of people come through. For one reason or another, it just didn't work. It has to be right, especially when it comes to commercial. And about 8 months later, a wonderful woman walked into the space and absolutely fell in love with it and absolutely had to have it. She is a gem. And we closed on Tuesday, and Monday she opened up her salon there, and she is killing it and having the time of her life in that space. And I look back now and I think on all that heartache that literally getting rid of that, it wasn't just a building. It meant so much, right? Somebody else was able to make it their heart, and we were able to bring ours here. And 2 people won out of that. Really, yeah, I truly believe that. 2 women won, 2 businesses won, 2 groups of women that are working in these salons. And now her heart is there and ours is here, and everything is as it should.
What'd you call me? Your friend? What was your term? Your friend? You had a term for it. Friend.
Family?
Family.
My family?
Your family.
My fam.
That you work with.
Yeah, these are my family.
Did you run through each one of them and give me like one or
good.
2 good points about each one?
Okay, let's see. So let me go around the room. So there's Allison. She's on the other side of me. She is my work wife. Allison is a funny story. I worked with a friend of hers and at a salon when we were in Oakley, and Allison had not been doing hair, but she loved the industry. She was an adult, she's in her 30. And I remember she was like, I want to do this so bad. And I was like, then do it. She was like, I hate going to hair school. I'm like 30 years old. I'm like, you can do anything you want. If you go to hair school and you graduate, I will have a chair for when you get out. I will have a job for you. She's like, are you serious? Yes. I didn't think she would really do it. And she did. And I remember it started getting closer to her graduating. And I was like, I don't have a space for her. And once again, things land in your lap and things happen for a reason. And the new space on Brotherton opened with more chairs than we knew what to do with. So when she graduated, she immediately came in and we had a chair for her. And she's been with us the entire time. She has turned into my best friend. She is one of the best humans I have ever met. Empathy, like the most empathetic person. She's kind of been a part of me on my faith journey, and to know her is to love her. You meet her and you instantly you want to be around her all the time. She's just a really solid human. She's one of the best people I know. And it's funny because they say, like, once you start doing hair, it's kind of like people start to look like their dogs. You'll find that your clientele, the people that continue to come back to you, are very much like you. And I can honestly say that her clients are the exact same way. The people that said that they are some of the best people I've ever met. Her chair is just like this aura of like goodness that comes out from it. So Allison she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. Behind her is Ray. Ray is probably one of the most talented hairdressers I know, and she has no idea. She truly, eats humble pie for breakfast. I literally don't think realizes when people get up from her chair just how amazing her work is. She truly is so talented and has no clue. 90% of her nutrition comes from a gas station, 100%. She is like just like a garbage disposal back there. It was like, what are you eating today? Oh my God. She is, how do I say this? The most organized, discombobulated person I've ever met in my life. Like, her station, when she's on, she is in there and she is going, but never has any idea where anything is. She's all right. To know her is also to love her. So that is Ray. Behind her is Talby. Talby has many nicknames. When delivery drivers come in, it's Tulabi, Tululama. I mean, like, nobody can pronounce her name correctly. Talby was another thing that fell into our laps. And so when we moved here, we had an empty station. And I was like, it's going to stay empty until we find the right person. I had no desire to just fill it. That wasn't it. I knew that the right person was going to come along, and it had to be the right person because this group is so good. I didn't want to mess with it. And so I was getting ready to I had surgery and I had a 10-week medical leave coming up, which is like career suicide in this industry. And nobody here was taking new clients. Like, what am I going to do with my clients? I had no idea. And earlier in the summer, a friend messaged me and said, hey, my cousin's moving home from Chicago. She grew up in Madeira, Indian Hill area. She's been doing hair for 9 years and she's moving back home and wants to establish somewhere. Are you hiring? And I was like, this is it. So I actually Zoomed. I did a FaceTime with Talby on the phone. It was in my car and I instantly fell in love with her. I just had a feeling about her. And a year later, she has turned out to be one of the best things that has ever happened to us. She came home with no clientele. She is now completely fully booked. She has this amazing business of her own now that she's running. She is the one that will walk by you and make like a crazy noise. Like, she just is, she's silly. But she keeps everybody laughing all day long, including her clients, which I think is really fun. And then there's Rachel. Rachel came to us right when we opened this space. We technically had 2 open stations. She had worked with Ray and Megan, and Rachel is her favorite thing to do is to be on an airplane. Rachel loves to travel, and none of us go anywhere or do anything. So we live vicariously through Rachel. She and her husband go to all these amazing places, and that is like literally it's like her passion. She is also an amazingly talented stylist. She's probably out of all of us the most quiet, but then you realize that she's just always thinking, right? She's also a gem. And then there's Fame. Fame just recently came to us. All of us have known Fame in some way or another just through doing hair. People have worked with her before, assisted. And we had a stylist, Megan, who'd been with us from the beginning, felt the pull to just be at home with her babies, and made the really hard decision to retire. And while we were so happy for her, we were also so sad. She's been with us for 12 years now. So when her station came open, Fame found out about it. And I'd kind of put out there that we were looking. She reached out, and she for sure is the caboose on this crazy train. She fits in seamlessly. It was like her first week here, and it was like she'd worked here for absolutely ever. And I think that says a lot just about who she is as a person, her personality, that she just came right in, fit right in, and went to it. Oh, and we have Cassie. So Cassie's been with me from the very beginning. She is awesome and actually built her own salon over on the west side. And it's always a joke, like, is Cassie in today? Cassie kind of comes and Cassie kind of goes. She will come on Thursdays every now and then. And when she's here and she pops in to do her clients that are still over here, kind of in this area, it's always a surprise. And it's like a little party when Cassie's here. But she's such an OG that she I always tell her, I'm like, you kind of make your own rules. You know, there's a chair here on Thursdays. And if you're here, you're here. And if you're not, you're not. And if you're here, it's always a bless that we get to see you. So we have Cassie too. So yeah, that's everybody. That's all of us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then last thing with all this great synergy, do you have a vision for the next 5 to 10 years of where this crazy train is going to go?
I don't. And maybe that's bad. I don't know.
Are you just riding the train?
I think I'm just riding the train, because if you would have asked me 12 years ago what my vision was, it's definitely not where we are now. Okay. Even 5 years ago, 2 years ago when we moved here, literally moving into this space, I never could have imagined what was going to happen a week later, 2 weeks later, almost a year and a half later. With the people that were here, people, we absolutely love it here. Yeah. You know, people have come, people have gone. Like I said before, people are taken out of your life, but new people are brought back in, and all of a sudden all of us are just like, this is how it was supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be. This is it.
Yeah.
We all get to come to work. I work with 7 of the most talented, genuine people I've ever met. I don't know where 5 years or 10 years is going to take us or where we're going to be. My goal is to still be here. I'm done moving. I'm officially done. I've had it with that. We love the Madeira area. But I'm cool to just ride the train. I'm cool for everyone to just keep showing up, and not just showing up to work, but showing up for each other, showing up for their clients, showing up for the business, showing up for the space. And I feel like I said before, when you're good to people, they're good back to you. That's kind of how we've always done it. I'm excited to see where 5 to 10 years is. I think it's still going to be here. But I kind of I don't want to put that out there. I think you just show up every day and you do your best, and good things just keep happening. Just kind of trails from that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Madeira's happy to have you. The Chamber's happy to have you. And thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Well, that's it for today. And we're all done. And any other goofy remarks we want to leave? You can swear now. It's the end.
I can cuss?
Son of a...
Fuck yes.
Yes.
Fuck yes.
All right, we're done.